What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. It's been a minute since we've been live. It's been, 3 weeks or so since the Summer League. And we have some big, huge breaking news today with De'Aaron Fox signing his contract extension. And I was thinking, do I want to do an 8 to 10 minute video on this afternoon? Or maybe just go live for an hour or so and talk to you guys? And that's why I actually have the chat up here. I'm really curious on what you guys think. We have a poll up right now on if the Spurs overpaid Fox. And it's actually literally split. Only 46 votes at the moment, but it's literally 50-50 that half the Spurs fans think we did overpay and half think we did not. And now it's actually gone the other way. So I'll keep that up for a little bit, but hope you're all doing well and happy Monday. Half the gang's here. Baby Yodi, Headband Grogu, Lil Mikey in the corner. And let's talk about De'Aaron Fox's contract extension. 4 years, and it's a big one. Actually, some people coming into the chat since it's kind of an impromptu live stream. I did announce it, but I don't know if I didn't do a good job of announcing it on the community post because I realized you had to click read more to see I was actually going live. The article cuts it off, but it is what it is. Ricardo, good evening. Rick P, thank you for stopping in. Bonjour, Arnold. Okay, we got some folks stopping in now. Let me shrink the poll there. So you guys are going to be on screen tonight, so be careful what you say. Don't get too wild and crazy, but I want to, really share your thoughts with the Spurs community. Of course, share my thoughts and get everybody's feelings. Aaron says, when do the Spurs play in the preseason? October. I think the first week of October, but closer to the end of the first week, the 7th or 8th. Guys and Bacon, good evening. I voted yes, but it isn't like a horrible overpay. Got to give up money to keep your stars happy. All right, so this is where I am as well, Glaze and Baking, and I think a lot of us that are concerned with the size of the contract are thinking along the same lines that you are, is what happens with Wemby's extension, Castle, Harper, Bryant, Sochan, etc., etc. Brandon, what's up? Rick, Aaron? Yes, Aaron, we are playing a Chinese basketball team. I don't know if it's over there or over here. Melissa says, best case scenario, Fox is a star number 2 next to Wemby, and maybe we could ship him off at some point to let Harper and Castle develop. That could be a possibility too. I actually got from Stingray X Factor a little while ago on the Twitters, X whatever, his contract breakdown. I didn't know this earlier today when I put up the community post that, he signed a 4-year contract. But for those that don't know, here's the breakdown over the next 4 years. And boy, does it get big. Now, the salary cap is going to go up each year, but right above my head, next season he's making $37 million-ish. This is starting the following season. Good evening, Pedro. Thank you for stopping in. $51 million is what it starts off with. $55 million is the first year of Wemby's contract extension. So we're going to have 2 big contracts on the book. I believe I'm reading Wemby's going to be eligible for about a $50 million contract extension per year. So that's going to be 2 guys on the books for over $50 million. It's a little worrisome, but not the end of the world. It's year number 3, where Fox is making $59 million, Wemby will be making whatever he's making, that Stephon Castle's extension comes up. All right, now we've got 3 big contracts. We're all assuming Castle's going to develop to be the player that we want him to be, and Wemby's going to be Wemby, and Fox will still be Fox. And then year number 4 is where I kind of go, oh my goodness, how is this going to be manageable? How's this going to be attainable when you're going to have Fox at 63, Wemby and Castle, wherever they are. Plus, let's not forget, Jeremy's probably going to get a contract extension somewhere in here. And you're going to have Bryant and Harper's first-year extension in 29 and 30. I know I'm thinking a little too long-term, and I'm sure Brian Wright has a plan. But, I just see the numbers, and I just I'm like, wow, that is a lot of money for a player that's... We agree De'Aaron Fox is a great player. Right? Great point guard. Top 5 point guard in the NBA. Top 20 player in the NBA. 20 or 25. If you disagree, 20. At least top 25. But when I look at a contract like that, I think top 10 player. And he's not a top 10 player. I'm sorry if you're a De'Aaron Fox fan. I don't think he's a top 10 player. What's up, Aaron, Romeo, Brian? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah. You're right. You're right. It's a tough spot. I would have liked to have seen 3 years at 50 plus, 50 to 53 million with an option in year 4. As far as I know, year 4 is not an option. That is guaranteed. Yeah, Dion, I'm not an expert with long-term contracts. The new CBA can be a little confusing at times. A few of you are very good with it. Me personally, I have my strengths and certainly my weaknesses. It's just looking at what's coming up in the future with what we have over my head really just makes me... He is, Steven. He's a good player. I'm happy for him. He got the big contract. He wanted to be here. I worry about the future. Now, if the Spurs win a championship in 27-28, we're not going to care, right? If the team's winning, if they are getting championships, they'll figure it out. Contracts can also be renegotiated, so it's not like it's the end of the world if the Spurs are winning and they go over to De'Aaron Fox and say, hey, listen, we want to bring back player A and B, but it's going to put us $5 million over the cap. Can we restructure, renegotiate your contract? I'd like to think that's a possibility. I mean, this is actually Ozzy not only showing them some love and ready to win now, but this is the biggest Spurs contract in history. David, I was thinking that too. With a contract this size, maybe, depending, I suppose, on the situation, who are you trading Fox to? What are you getting in return? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But trading a player with that size contract, I would think, would be much more difficult than a player that's making $10 million a year less. Steven, that's what I'm hoping too. I'm hoping this ends up being a Stephon Castle draft situation as opposed to a Joshua Primo draft situation. And I bring that up because we all like to trust the process, but the process had made mistakes in Brian Wright's tenure. He hasn't been perfect. Devin Vassell's draft pick was up in the air right now. I don't know if it was good or bad. Right now, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm going to need to see how he plays this year. His contract extension with Devin is kind of in the same spot. Was it good or bad? We don't know. The 2021 draft, I think we can agree, was abysmal with Primo and Wieskamp. That draft was just essentially a waste. 2022, Sochan, on the fence. We don't know what we have with him yet. We don't know what his ceiling is. Wesley and Branham already off the team. 23, a home run with Wemby. 24, Castle was obviously a good move at 4. Wasn't a lock that the Spurs would take him at 4. I think that was good drafting on Brian Wright's part. But then you also look around that time frame, gave a big contract extension to Zach Collins, which didn't pan out. Yes, he was part of the Fox trade, but there's been mistakes on the way. And I sincerely hope that when we look back at this contract, we're not putting this in the mistake column. We're putting this as a home run, a grand slam. This is what we needed. Pero, not a lot. Keldon Johnson had Keldon expires in, he's got 2 more years, I think. And that would be the first year of Fox's extension. Vassell has 4 more years. So Vassell would go into 28-29, I think. Unidog, I think 16, I put them at 15. I put them right in the middle of the pack. So anywhere between 14 and 16, I think, seems about right. Vassell is a fine pick. The extension was a bit high. Rachel, that's fair. Okay. Logan, I mean, I can't argue that. You can't make the huge mistakes. If you're going to rebuild a franchise successfully, you can have the speed bumps here and there. But if you want to be like the Thunder, who are, of course, modeling what the Spurs did many years ago, no shocker, Sam Presti and the front office of OKC, you can't have the huge mistakes. Because you can make a huge mistake, then that could set your franchise back years. I'm a New York Giants fan, if you guys don't know. Drafting Daniel Jones at 6 overall in 2019 was a huge mistake. And the last 6 years have just basically been... So that set the franchise back numerous years. We don't want to be that. We have a franchise player with Victor Wembanyama, so I don't think that's going to happen. But I do have little concerns about this. Especially, I want to bring this up to you guys. This is Fox's contract. On average, he's making about $57 million a year, a little over that if you average out the whole contract over the 4 years that are up there. Okay, $57 million a year. In comparison, just to give you an example, would you guys agree that Luka Doncic is the best point guard of the NBA, or at least top 2? Right? I think you guys would say at least top 2. And Luka Doncic just signed an extension for 3 years, so 1 year less, granted. But he's averaging 50, and this number is slightly off. Whoever put this together on Twitter is slightly off. It's closer to 57. But he's making $55 million a year. And I'm not trying to throw shade at De'Aaron Fox. But he's making more than Doncic on a per-year basis. I like De'Aaron. I think he's going to be great for us. Luka is a traffic cone on defense, but I don't think many people would say De'Aaron Fox is a better player than Doncic. And Doncic is even a little younger. All right, so he's a huge liability defensively. Yeah, it does seem like a risk, which means next season it's got to be playoffs. We absolutely cannot be a lottery team. If you're going to give a player this kind of a contract extension, then you clearly see that you've got your Batman and Robin with Wemby and Fox right now. You have your backups, your other guys, the Teen Titans or the new Teen Titans, if you guys want to call them that. You have the guys that hopefully will take over that Robin spot from Fox in either Harper, Castle, or even Bryant. But this does shock me a little bit. Again, not throwing shade at Fox, but to see he's getting more on a per-year average than Luka, no defense or not. He's helped carry a team, not carry, he's helped lead a team to the NBA Finals. They lost, but he's been in the NBA Finals. De'Aaron Fox, maybe it's because he was in Sacramento, has had no playoff success. So that I'm hoping it works out. I hope it doesn't feel like it's an attack on Fox. I'm happy for him. He got paid. If it was me and the team offered me that, I'm saying yes. I mean, if the San Antonio Spurs knocked on my door tomorrow and said, TSR, we've heard your play-by-play on your TSR Sports channel. We're going to be a 3-year contract for $5 million guarantee to come do games in San Antonio. Do you think I'm staying loyal to my state job, or am I moving to Texas? Start packing my bags and going to Texas. Account contingents right here. The half that stays at my house. They're here. Luka's going to pay higher taxes. Texas is a no income tax state, so I was hoping that would help lower his contract a little bit. Shaq, I think the one thing that's a little concerning too is we don't know just how well Fox, Wemby, and the rest of the team are going to work together. We're all hoping it's going to be incredible and fun to watch and cause or contribute to a lot of wins in the W column. But we haven't seen a healthy Fox, and I'm hoping he's 100%. We are signing a player that just had surgery on his shooting hand. Should be good to go, but stranger things have happened. And we haven't seen a full season of Wemby, Fox together. So it is a risk. It is a risk. It might not work out. They might not work out on the court. We don't know. Wemby was not healthy when Fox came in. Of course, Fox was injured all last year. So this is high risk, high reward. Hoping it pays off. Scotty, I would have liked a 3-year deal, I think. And Aaron, from my understanding, Keldon Johnson is taking his number 3 back. Yeah, Giovanni, we haven't. We have not seen the best of Fox, though, so I'm hoping that with the supporting cast around him, he's got a player like he's never had before playing around him. He's had good players in Sacramento, Domantas Sabonis. What was the other part of their big 3 over there? I know they just traded for DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, but Fox is on his way out there. It's Fox, Sabonis. Who's the other guy in Sacramento? Why am I drawing a blank? Wemmy's Castle, what's going on? You think the Doncic deal's bad for the Lakers? But he's never had a player like Wemby. My point is, De'Aaron Fox has never played with an alien, and he's got one. So hopefully that unlocks the game in ways that have never been able to be achieved before, because a lot of eyeballs are going to focus on Wemby. Fox was the number 1 scorer pretty much his whole time in Sacramento over the last 5 years, was he not? So the eyeballs were on Fox to stop him. Now defenses are going to want to focus on Victor Wembanyama, as they should. He can do incredible things at 7 foot, whatever he is these days. So that might open up some more opportunities for Fox that he didn't have before. Maybe we'll see an even better version of Fox in San Antonio than we ever saw in Sacramento. Yeah, DeRozan, you just swore, Stinger X Factor. You wrote TIT in the chat. I don't think you meant to. He didn't swear. Yes, even without him, he has to prove to be on a high level. I'm hoping it works out. I truly am. I want to look back at this stream and all the concerns I'm mentioning to you guys tonight and go, TSR, Rich, you were nuts. Everything's fine as we're celebrating our 3rd championship in a row. Militia Guy, what's up? He says, in my defense, however, I don't know who his agent was. Super Gangsta Sports for 8 row, Clutch Sports. Clutch Sports, we have not had good, correct me if I'm wrong, we have not had the best results with Clutch Sports or that agent, Rich Paul. Haven't we had kind of bad luck with them? Keldon Johnson is, his number's going back to 3, I think. Harrison Barnes is Sacramento. He was. Man, I was hoping to get Antetokounmpo. That's a huge trade. That is a huge, huge trade, which I don't think works. Giannis's contract is even bigger than De'Aaron Fox's. A big part of Giannis's game is his athletic ability. He's going to be on the wrong side of 30, is he not, next season? He's been injured in the playoffs the last few years. As much as I would enjoy watching Twin Towers 2.0, I think you have to give up too much for Giannis, and it's just not going to happen. Kevin Johnson, that's Keldon Johnson's twin brother. All right, so Stinger X Factor, I appreciate the comic book comment there. The second comic book the second channel is getting close to 100 subscribers. So the first video I did starting to get a little traction on YouTube. The channel's starting to get in the algorithm a little bit. If any of you guys are watching that channel, I want to thank you very much. I'm having fun over there. I'm going to have music content up here on real quick aside. Music content up on here in TSR Sports soon, and maybe even that channel. For those of you who don't know, I'm a musician. I play guitar, bass, drums, do vocals, and I've been experimenting with a lot of different things lately. My own recording software. I got a Scarlett Soul, got a new microphone coming in. Dealt with Suno, which is an AI-generated thing, but I've been using it too on my own written music to see if it can clean it up and give it a different tone, etc. I've been working with Reaper, Audacity, so I'm using a lot of different programs, and might have some songs about the couch contingent. Maybe the first one about Baby Yodi. He is part of the channel, and he is a Spur. So try to keep it sports related. Anyway, that's it. Tyrese Halliburton was a king, but he was not the Tyrese Halliburton that he would eventually become with Indiana. Joshua Cherry, what's going on? I was hoping they would give Fox a deal that decreased. That's what I was hoping. You know, Joshua, I was kind of in the same boat. I was hoping it'd be more of a team-friendly contract where it declined a little bit to leave room for our big extensions. And those of you that are just coming in, I want to do a quick recap. Year number 2 of this extension is when Wemby's rookie contract extension, that's when he's going to sign that, which is going to be huge. Year number 3 of this is when we're going to have Wemby on the books and then Castle on his extension. And then the last year, it's going to be Wemby, Castle, Harper, and Bryant. So things are going to get really expensive. All right, I think we got enough votes. Looks like most of you said no. The poll's blocking stuff. All right. No, 57%. Yes, 42%. 1% undecided. Yeah, Area 51. Definitely a more team-friendly contract. Stinger X Factor, a big part of Fox's game is his elite speed, which will certainly decline as he gets older. That's just the way the world works. That's the nature of the beast. So once that ability starts to fade from him, yes, the contract will be over. CCD says, after giving it some thought, here are my conclusions. Blank. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, Serge, I'm surprised there's no team or player option either for year number 4. I was really hoping for a year 4 team option. So that way, if Harper and Castle are the lock for the backcourt for the next decade, then you can move on from them. That's my big concern, is what happens in year 4, which would actually be a 6th year, or 5.5 years with the Spurs at that point. What's going to happen with the salary cap? Can the Spurs manage? I don't know. So that's the one thing that sucks, the militia guy, is I don't want to have to put all the pressure on Wemby to be the player that takes the lesser contract. And Fox could restructure his contract too. We've talked about this early in the stream. If the Spurs are winning and winning championships, then maybe be open to restructure if it's to keep a player or two. KK, the comic book channel, I do a lot of fill-a-box sales in New England where I live, so that's where you pay X amount of dollars for a box and just fill it up with comics. I will do the occasional unboxing of a Grail, which for me, I'm not probably getting a Grail more than once a year. And then just random visits to local shops, comics. I'm going to Terrificon in Connecticut this week. If anybody's in Connecticut, I'll be at Terrificon Saturday. Look for TSR Sports. I'll be filming for the comic book channel. Stuff like that. Hall of Famer player, yeah. Ginobili did come off the bench. Not everybody's going to be a Ginobili. Omar says he thinks we're trading Harper. Interesting. For who? Now, I mean, Wemmy's going to make a gazillion dollars off endorsements, so it's not necessary at all for him to. Yeah, he's going to be set for life. He could be. Maybe he Tom Brady's it. He takes a lesser contract because he's just going to get so much money from endorsements and everything else. By the way, I have not asked you guys to hit the thumbs up at all, so if you have not done so, please do so. It does help the channel, and I'll try not to push that too much, but I just realized I haven't done it, so here we go. CB, that's a lot of money. And I do think we're not completely in win now, but get better now. We can't be a 40 team, definitely cannot be just a 40 win team next year. This team needs to start winning. Yeah. It can't be 40 and 42, 41, 41. Got to be top 6 in the Western Conference. Redemption for Spurs jersey number 2. I know that Izzy says, I'm happy the Spurs kept their word. If they hadn't made a deal with Fox and backed out, that would hurt us with future stars. Absolutely. You know, you brought the guy in, and then if you don't extend him, that would make other stars go, I don't know if I want to play in San Antonio. Hate it, but understand. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I get why the Spurs did it. It's more than I thought. I was really thinking 3 years with a player option. I understand why they went with 4 years. I thought it would be closer to 4 years, $200 million, but we were seeing this figure thrown around, $229 million for a while. So they went with the number that he was eligible for. Henry, that is championship money. That is legit championship money they're putting out there, and a championship. If they don't win a championship and Fox is, if he's here the whole 4 years under his contract and they don't win a championship, I would say it was a bad investment, right? I mean, if you're going to pay that kind of money to him, to Wemby, to other players, and you're not producing results, it's got to be at least one championship in the next 5 years, because that's a 4-year extension. He's making 37 next year. A championship in the next 5 years, maximum Wemby at that point. Yeah. Expectations will equal talent? I hope so. OKC and the Spurs in the first round. You have to expect the Thunder will be the best team in the Western Conference again next season. So if they're the number 1 seed, the Spurs would have to be, what, number 8? First round. I'm hoping we're better than 8. I'm really hoping we don't have to deal with the play-in. Well, actually, but wait. Yeah, if we're the 6th seed, we don't have to deal with the play-in. 7 through 10 are part of the play-in, and then of course the 2 teams that win the play-in become 7 and 8. So hopefully we're 6. People looking at Fox like he's DeJounte. Fox is an all-star and a beast. Yeah, Daryl, listen, he's a great player. Is he a $60 million player? I'll put his contract. I'm going to just leave that up. Is he a $60 million player? Because when I've said this earlier in the stream, when I see that kind of money, I think top 10 player in the NBA. Now, of course, the bar is being raised on a regular basis with these contracts, so pretty soon a $60 million player is going to be maybe top 15 the way they're going. But I just think top 10 with that. I see us trading for center or power forward before his contract is up. Possibly. Waluigi. Man, what's going on? I like that name. Thank you. Cody, I agree. 5 to 6. Yes. Scotty, I don't think it's not people know. They might say you don't know how money works. In the reverse, remember the contract extensions that are going to be happening during this particular contract. Yes, the cap is going to go up, but you've got a lot of people that you need to feed. You've got Fox's max contract right here. Wemby's going to be eligible for 5 years, $250 million in a couple years. Okay, so you're going to have some overlap there. Castle's a 4th overall pick. If he keeps playing well, he's going to get paid. And the last year of Fox's contract, you got Harper and Bryant, which if they're both balling, and Harper's a 2nd overall pick, which means he's going to be eligible for a big contract extension. Eventually, there's only so much money to go around. And the San Antonio Spurs are not going to be a team that's going to go over the first apron and second apron every year and pay a ridiculous amount of luxury tax. We saw the Celtics this year. They were a second-level apron offender 2 times, which meant they would have had $50 million in taxes had they kept their roster the way it was. They cleaned house. That's what I don't want to see happen to the Spurs. I don't want to see us get really good, win a championship, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got to break up the team because we can't afford it. And that is part of what the new CBA is, I think, is to prevent teams from, these dynasty, maybe not dynasties, but prevent the super team thing where you have a bunch of players come together and try to win a championship. I think the CBA really inhibits that. But keeping a team together, if you have a lot of players with contracts like this, is going to be very difficult. The Thunder are trying it. I think the Thunder are going to be the blueprint on whether this works or not. They gave SGA a ton of money. They've got Chet Holmgren a ton of money, which I'm kind of shocked at that one considering how many games he's missed in his 3-year career. And they paid Jalen Williams. I think all those guys are each getting over $50 million a year. If they make it work, then the Spurs can make it work. But we can't make it work with 4 $50 million guys. And that would mean Fox, Wemby, Castle's a 4th overall pick, so I think his rookie contract might maybe not $50 million, but probably north of 40. And then Harper, his first rookie contract extension is probably 45 to 50. So I don't think you can make that work with 4 guys in that salary range. No, it does not, Mr. Chef. No, it does not. Marty, it could be. The beginning of that for Vassell. Vassell's on the books for another, 4 years at about $27 million a year. That's an expensive contract. We got Jeremy Sochan's rookie contract extension. You start adding these numbers up, fans are looking at that, myself including, going, all right, Brian Wright, I don't know how you're going to make this work yet. Obviously, we all hope that he has a plan, and I'm sure he does for the future, but the team's going to start getting expensive. AG, I agree with that. Dang it. I didn't realize I put the salary and Luka over Yodi there. All right, let's move that down a little bit. We don't want to cover Yodi up. Coyote. That's Coyote. That's a big Coyote. All right, there we go. That's down there. That's down there. 50 and 32 would be that would be fantastic. That would exceed my expectations. I think about 45 wins. No, actually, no, I said 50 wins. You know what? Romy, I did say 50 wins. Nate says that people are acting like we expect to. Well, Nate, Sam, we should expect them to get the max because that means they're playing extremely well. If they're not getting a max rookie contract or something close, that means they are not living up to expectations, which it's obviously what we don't want. We're hoping Castle and Harper both develop to be the best players that they can be. We've seen a little of how good Castle can be. He's putting in the work big time in the offseason with the guard whisper. Right now, Dylan Harper hasn't played a real minute in the NBA, so we don't know yet, but I expect him to be very good. I want to read the rest of your comment, though. If we do, great. We can afford... So, my one concern there is Fox's contract. How movable is it at $63 million? Or do you move off him after 2 years? Because don't forget, we're going to have 3 years minimum to look at Harper and Castle. You got Fox's $37 million next season. Then you got the $51-55. We'll know what we have in Harper and Castle in 3 years. That'll be 4 years of Castle on the court, 3 years of Harper. We'll know exactly what we have. We'll have a decent idea of what their ceiling is. Salary cap will be up by then, so maybe you do move off of Fox. I don't know. He'll still be under contract, so maybe teams will be more willing to trade for him if they can make the cap work. Soyan's not signed yet, Asian Symbols. Hello, Aquavision. He better start hitting 37% from 3. Taj, he did 2 years ago. We're going to need that from him. That is a certain. If the Spurs offense is going to operate at its best, we're obviously going to need Stephon Castle to get better with his three-point shot. And right now, by the way, the starting lineup, all signs are pointing to Fox, Castle, Vassell at small forward. Okay. Barnes, because we need his three-point shooting. I don't like him at power forward. I prefer him at the 3, but he's going to play the 4 again. And then Wemby. Vassell can shoot the 3. He's streaky, but he can shoot the 3 ball, and he has shot, I think his career best was 39%, so if we can get something like that at him again, good. Barnes, we know he can shoot over 40%. I think he was 43% from the season last year. He was one of the best corner three-point shooters in the NBA. Great. Wemby's three-point shot I expect to go up again, but we're not worried about Wemby's three-point shot. We're worried about the guys around him. Fox, we can get back to that 37%. Perfect. If Castle can just be around league average, so teams are not leaving open, then that starting lineup is going to put up a ton of points. If you can trade Beal, you can trade... All right, that's fair. Wemby goated. If you can trade Bradley Beal, you can trade anyone. Fox will retire as a Spur. Relax, guy. Interesting. Big Sean, a lot of people are saying that the max deal for Fox means somebody's getting traded or let go soon. Yeah. Good evening, Stormy. I'd like to see Bryant get minutes, Daryl. My guts tell me he's going to go to Austin to start the season. Trade Vassell and Johnson. Those minutes are needed for Harper, Castle, Bryant minutes. I'd rather trade Harper than... I don't want to trade Harper or Castle. I'm hoping both are the future backcourt of the Spurs at some point. Have you seen Stephon hang out the... I saw a little of that. 3-guard lineup forever. Yeah, Maximus, you're probably right. Yeah, Beal did get bought. Yeah, actually, Beal got bought out. He actually wasn't traded. You're right, Steven. He got bought out, and then he signed with... Where'd he go? Did he go to LA? Phoenix bought him out. Yeah, he wasn't traded. That's a good point. Salary cap will be up 30% in 3 years, says UFC fighter Michael Chandler. I mean, there is that. It is going to go up 10% a year. Although, is that a lock over the entirety of Fox's contract? Is it guaranteed that it's going to go up 10% the next 5 years? You did go to Clippers, okay. Looked up, the renegotiation is only to increase the contract. Mr. Chef, thank you. So, okay, so he can't renegotiate to take less. Muhammad, as far as I know, fully guaranteed, no team option, no player option. Contract breakdown is right above my head. If the max for Fox means Vassell's bloated contract is gone before training camp. Keldon did take number 3 back, from what I understand. I am unreal. Which is great, because if you have a Keldon Johnson jersey, he's wearing the correct number again. And if you put out Victor Wembanyama, Dylan Harper, Keldon Johnson, De'Aaron Fox, and Stephon Castle, you literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lineup is probably not likely, but you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the court. You know what? If there's a blowout, when there's a blowout, we need to see that at least for 30 seconds just to make it happen. Mitch, make it happen. Olivia's starting lineup from all signs are pointing from 1 through 5. Fox, Castle, Vassell, Barnes, and Wemby. Yeah, Michael, I think 30% is what I saw for the first year of his contract extension, and then that's obviously going to decrease as time moves on. Kyle, no, I would agree, top 10 point guard. Yes. In perspective, though, Kyle, let me ask you this. This is the extension by Luka Doncic. Would you agree Luka Doncic is a top 3 point guard? Defense, atrocious, I get it, but is he a top 3 point guard? The Lakers are paying him $55 million a year. That number is a little off. I didn't make this. Fox is going to be averaging around $57 million a year. Yes, I know it's one more year. I'm not oblivious to that. But on a per-year basis, Fox is making more than Luka Doncic. Just throwing that out there. Yes, Area 51, that is a combination to your match luggage. Fox, Castle, Barnes, Son, Wemby, and Devin come off the bench. So that is a lineup I have tinkered around with. I like Barnes at the 3. I like Sochan at the 4 more, sure as a hell more than I do at the 5 and the 1. Jeremy's got to be better with his 3-point shooting. Where? If you watch videos online, the hitch from his 3-point shot looks like it's mostly gone. So if Jeremy can be 34, 35%, just so teams aren't leaving him wide open, then that lineup works. And Devin as a 6-man? I don't know if the Spurs are going to do Devin as a 6-man or Harper as a 6-man. Now, David, I am a little worried about him coming off an injury to his shooting hand. I agree. It is a little worrisome. You don't consider Luka a point guard? Rich, I don't know the details of the Doncic deal. Probably was a guaranteed 5-year Supermax extension. I don't know the details. Isn't that the actual number, though? Is that not right? Wasn't it 3 years? Or is that not correct? I thought he signed 3 years for 165. Is that not correct? If it is, my apologies. You know what? Not to go off on a tangent a little too much and way off base, Taj, but I will give credit to where it's due. Luka Doncic has lost a lot of weight. There's a ton of pictures of him floating around the social medias where he looks in shape, and I'm sure he's motivated. Because one of the reasons he got traded is, Dallas was, they traded him because he was a bigger guy. And what better way to get motivated to be in the best shape of your career than get traded But yeah, good for him. Luka left $50 million in taxes on the table to the state of... Yeah. No, Jason, I agree. I like De'Aaron Fox, but he's got the... for those of you that agree the contract was correct, as Spurs fans, De'Aaron Fox has the biggest contract in Spurs history. I want you to think about that just for a second. This is by far the biggest contract in San Antonio Spurs history. And when you look at the play, I mean, granted, time has passed a lot, but you look at the players that have been on the team just in my lifetime. I didn't get to see the Iceman play, but David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard. Granted, a lot of those guys made less because it was many years ago, but De'Aaron Fox is now the high, and I'm sure Wemby will pass this at some point, but De'Aaron Fox is the highest paid Spur in San Antonio Spurs history. And we're not used to seeing contracts like this. Right? That could also be throwing me off, seeing a player in San Antonio getting this kind of money, and we haven't won a championship. I think that's the other thing, too. Granted, he hasn't been here long enough, but, our Spurs, I think I saw, have the second longest drought in missing the playoffs, 6 years, and we're putting a lot of money into one guy. A guy that, let's be real, hasn't had any playoff success prior to coming to San Antonio. I'm hoping that's just a Sacramento thing because they've been a mess for ever, it feels like. And I really hope he has playoff success in San Antonio, but we're going to need playoffs and playoff wins, I would think, to justify that. No, game one lineup. Fox, Castle, Devin. Yeah, Wemby goated, I agree. Three beards, what's going on? Fox getting up an all-star with Wemby. That's what I'm hoping, Jason. I'm hoping having Wemby out there, having a player like no other in the NBA, opens his game in ways that it was not able to be open, so to speak, or in Sacramento. So many defenses are going to be focused on shutting down Wemby. We see Wemby get double teams, sometimes triple teams, quite often. Fox is one of the fastest players in the NBA. That should open up the paint for him and enable him to operate and maybe do even more than he did with the Kings. He's a fantastic shooter within the arc. Clutch shooter, too, as we know. Former clutch player of the year. So maybe he's our leading scorer next season. Who knows? If he is, I just hope I'm wrong with any concerns I have with the size of this contract. I truly am. Which you guys know. I'm rooting for all our guys. I'm rooting for Devin Vassell. I'm rooting for Keldon Johnson. I hope they both make everybody go, wow, you know what? Worth keeping. Robert Ball says, respectfully, I think this overpay will be even more costly as the contracts of other members of the Spurs core come due. That's my biggest concern, Robert, is the future contracts coming up. That's my biggest concern. I remember that outrage when I signed a contract for $1 million. They really roasted him when he said $1 million isn't what it used to be. You know what? The price of the Spurs tickets might go up with this. Better pray that Wemby, Fox, Castle, Harper, Bryant. Yeah. We were plagued by injury. I mean, our season started not an injury, but a medical issue with Pop going down at game 5 or 6, and then just throughout the season, you had Devin still recovering. Sochan was in and out of the lineup. Wemby shut down at the All-Star break. Fox came to the team injured. Yeah, we dealt with a lot last year. Charles Bassey and his noodle knee was noodling. Nizal says the Sacramento Kings are the most functional franchise in sports. Fox will be fine, will be a great leader for the youngsters. I mean, yeah. The Kings are dysfunctional, and so that's what always raises a question. Bear with me for a moment. If you're a guy that's putting up 25 points a game on a bad team, are you that good of a player that you are able to overcome the deficiencies on your team and still score at that level? Or are you only scoring on that level because your team's bad and you have the opportunity to take more shots? It might be a mix of both. What percentage, I don't know. I think Fox is going to be good for us. I just don't know how good. Hopefully really good. Hopefully an all-star again. Vassell's missed time in the last 3 years, I think, Cody, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Vassell's been injured the last 3 years. And 3 years ago, I think he played less than half a season. Jason, I agree. I think the Spurs make the playoffs. And yes, Mike. Not only a clutch gene, he is a former clutch player of the year, which I think he'll be fine. It just there's a lot of sticker shock, with the size of his contract. James, I do agree with you, and I don't want to say it's a mistake. I do agree. I do think the Spurs should have extended him. I would have preferred GM from the couch, 4 years, $200 million, or the contract goes down a little bit each year. I know the salary cap goes up, so I mean that makes sense. Not everybody's going to do a Keldon Johnson type team-friendly contract. I do think it was a bit of an overpay. I'm hoping Fox just proves us wrong. If the core plays 65 games and Spurs are 6-speed, and if Mitch Johnson doesn't screw things up, Sean Sweeney to the... we have Sean Sweeney, we hired another assistant. So I think coaching-wise, I do have some concerns with Mitch Johnson, but I think he's got the right assistant coaches around him to succeed. Paul F. with the $5 super chat says, Rich, thanks for doing this so we can all comment. I know I haven't read every comment, and my apologies, but you're all up there on the screen because I really wanted you guys, your reaction to this is important to mine. We're all Spurs fans. We don't all agree on this contract. Some are like, they hate it. Some love it. Some are in the middle. And that's kind of where I am. I'm in the middle. I'm like, all right, De'Aaron Fox is Spur for the next 5 years. Good. I like it. I think I'm being too analytical with worrying about the contracts in the future, which is natural. Fox is a closer. Chris, he absolutely is. People are talking crazy like Fox is the best point guard we have had since Tony Parker. Yeah. I mean, Chris Paul would be the best point guard, but not the version of Chris Paul we got, because he's pushing 40. Prime Chris Paul would have been the best point guard we had since Tony, but we don't have prime Chris Paul. We had close to retirement. We had retirement home Chris Paul. They played all 82 games, though. I'll give him credit for that. So, yeah, I mean, when I look through Tony Parker, DeJounte Murray, Trey Jones is running the point at times. Yeah, I would agree. And, for the first time in forever, we have two guys that can make an all-star team this year, Wemby and Fox. I don't think Castle will be there yet in year number 2. I hope he proves me wrong. But we have two guys that could legit be all-stars next season. We have two players that are former NBA champions, which is something we haven't been able to say in some time, right? Luke Cornett won one with the Celtics, and then Harrison Barnes with the Warriors. Does Rich Paul represent other Spurs? James, I think Rich Paul represented DeJounte Murray, if I remember correctly. I don't know. It's just sent the wrong message, me think, Muhammad says. Now everyone will want max. Everyone wants max contracts, though. Look what the Thunder just did. They max contracted 3 guys. SGA, I get. Thought his contract was a little ridiculous. I think he's making $70 million in like his last year. Hey, reigning MVP, reigning Finals MVP, reigning scoring champion, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine, I get it. He's still young, too. Jalen Williams, okay. Former All-Star, one-time All-Star, fantastic shooter. Okay, I get J-Dubs. Chet Holmgren has missed the whole season, played a whole season, and missed more than half a season. What's his lifetime? 15 and 8? I get keeping the core together. I don't think Chet was worth what he got. Funny how Hawks fans are laughing, but Trae Young is their franchise player that's killing multiple cores. Trae Young or De'Aaron Fox? Which would I rather have? Throwing that out there. I mean, Trae Young is also very clutch. Efficiency-wise, Trae Young, I believe, is a better three-point shooter than Fox, but not by much. He's a much higher volume, but I don't think percentage-wise he's crushing him there. Fox is not a great defender, but he is a former steals leader. Trae Young is a traffic cone on defense. Fox is a much more efficient shooter overall, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, field goal percentage-wise at least. Fox is not the turnover machine Trae Young is. Isn't Trae Young like top 3 in the turnovers per game like the last 5 years? Isn't he led the league in turnovers per game at one point? I would actually take De'Aaron Fox. Now, would Trae Young be a better version of himself playing with Wemby? Yes. Which player would be better next to Wemby? Wemby could cover for Young's deficiencies on defense. I don't know. I don't know, because I'll never see Young play with Wemby, and I really haven't got to see Fox play with Wemby. So we'll wait and see on that. Trae Young just jacks up threes. Well, yeah. De'Aaron Fox is the only legitimate bucket getter on our team aside from Wemby. When all of our other guards were failing to get a bucket, yeah, I mean, a healthy yes. Advanced Stats place Fox as the 16th best point guard. Really? De'Aaron Fox, 16? I certainly am not going to argue with you if you say he's not top 5. If you say not top 10, I might bend a little and say, okay, at least top 12, but 16th for De'Aaron Fox? Now, when you say Kevin Johnson, Aaron, do you mean Kevin Johnson for the Phoenix Suns, like back in the day in the 90s? Because there was a Kevin Johnson that played, and he was really good back in the day. Back with Thunder Dan Marley. Daryl, yes, I'd like to see a healthy Fox too. A healthy Fox that's not highlight reels, because that's all I got the last season. Didn't he drop 60 on a team last year with the injury? Is that correct? Okay, I hope you're right. I can see Spurs getting Fox next year's with this I hope so, Rob. And yes, Kyle, Steven, top 10. Yeah, what 15 point guards are you taking over De'Aaron? You tell you what, I'm not taking over De'Aaron Fox next season. I'm not taking Tyrese Halliburton. Sorry. That might be mean, but he's not playing, so he don't count. Daryl, if somebody wants to say he's not top 6, I'm not going to hem and haw about it. But not top 10 really blows my mind. I think running the pick and roll with a left-handed point guard is easier for the big to roll to the basket with his right hand leading the way. You know, Serge, one thing we're not talking about in De'Aaron Fox yet tonight, he's going to be a great mentor for Dylan Harper. Harper is left-handed, and the expectation is he'll be a left-handed point guard for us, is it not? So having a backup, granted, our players are going to have to learn to adjust to playing with a left-handed point guard next season. But having your backup also be left-handed means things won't change much. Grant, I do like our rebuild. There's been a few blips and a few mistakes here and there. Not a lot. A few little speed bumps in the road, but we got lucky a little bit. Let's be honest. The last 3 drafts we moved up to get Wemby first overall. I think we only moved up a little bit for Castle. Did we move up from like 5 to 4? Then this season or this year we jumped from 8 to 2. So I mean we've had some luck, but the Spurs have generally been lucky with the lottery, have they not? We haven't been in the lottery a ton. And we've had not 1, not 2, but 3 first overall picks. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Victor Wembanyama. There are some teams, and I know this because my friends are Utah Jazz fans, that have never had a first overall pick in the history of their team. Jazz have never had a first overall pick. They were hoping this year would be the year and they would get Cooper Flag. Nope, down to 5. Spurs backup point guard, Aaron, I think is going to be Dylan Harper. Kyrie's hurt too, Taj. He's going to miss half the season with his ACL. We're in a day and age where players are playing till they are 40. Yeah, Logan, some are. Depends on what your game is based on. I think a lot of it has to do with, like, Kevin Durant is just a shooter, so, I mean, he can just keep going. LeBron's just LeBron. I think other players, though, you know what, the load management might be contributing to that, too. You might say, hey, we have a lot of guys that are able to play till they're almost 40, but they're not playing 82 games a year anymore. They're playing 70, 65, maybe even less. Starting lineup for this year is projected to be De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell. I think I just struggle now because I don't like Devin as a small forward. Harrison Barnes, which not in love with that at the 4, and then Wemby. It's going to be a small lineup. All signs point to that being the starting lineup. Primary guys off the bench, what I expect to be Dylan Harper and Keldon Johnson and Luke Cornett. I think those are going to be the first 3 off the bench. After that, I don't know how many minutes are Penny going to get. I don't know. Sochan Sochan's going to be one of the top front, right? Shouldn't he be one of the first guys off the bench? Are we going to extend him this year? Who the heck knows? Jalen, Donovan, Luka, Shai, Guy, Minnesota, and Ja. Are these the guys? Oh, those are guys you put ahead of. You would put ahead of De'Aaron Fox. Okay. James, I'm happy for the 4 years. I wish it was a little smaller. I wish it was that big. Sochan in the starting lineup instead of Castle. So Joshua, you would run Fox, Vassell, Barnes at the 3, and then Sochan at the 4, and then Wemby. That would give us more size. Both Sochan and Harrison, I believe, are both at least 6'8"-ish. I guess a little more size. Do you send the reigning Rookie of the Year to the bench, though? And if Castle is much improved going into the season, I mean, the work he is putting in a ton of work. I don't think you reward that by saying, go to the bench, kid. Maybe preseason maybe the Spurs starting lineup won't be determined until the night before the season starts. We have the preseason. If we have guys absolutely tearing it up in preseason, if Sochan and Castle are draining threes left and right, yeah, I know. Living out there in Oz with the Wizard saying that. But maybe, who knows? Or if one of them, if Sochan or Castle all of a sudden turns a corner and they're draining threes, what do you do? Yes, James, very much in his prime for Fox. Keldon should be the last guy off the bench. Ouch. Derek White staying in Boston. Spurs preseason schedule, just Google it, Aaron. I'll just Google Spurs preseason. It'll come right up for you. We won't know about the stars and those coming off the bench till the last time. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of experimenting, Bart. Just like Mitch Johnson's a new coach. Yeah, he coached last year, but I think there's going to be some experimenting. It might be frustrating. I've talked about this before on the channel. We might be frustrated with some of the lineups. Last season, I quote this because it was one of the head-scratching lineups, for me at least, 4 guards and a Mamu. That's when we had, Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox and Blake Wesley and somebody else out there. Maybe it was Devin Vassell with Sandro Mamukelashvili. I was like, why do we have 4 guards and a Mamu? I don't know if we're going to see anything that weird this year, but expect the unexpected. We might see also some little twin tower lineups. I would not be shocked if Wemby and Luke share the 4 points. Probably Wemby and Olenek at times as well. Yeah, expect the unexpected. As long as we're winning. So, you never know. What's up, Vixel? Thank you for stopping in. So, I ran in threes. Why not? There are players that develop their three-point shot later in their career. Our own Tony Parker, TP, was a below-average three-point shooter for a long time. And then he had 2 years in a row. He shot north of 40%, didn't he? Anything's possible. Thank you, Robert. Starting 5 will be Fox, Castle, Barnes, Sochan, and what? All right, so you're having Devin Vassell come off the bench. Are you going to have a $27 million guy come off the bench? No, Grant. It's a good problem to have too many good players, or hopefully good players, because we don't know the ceiling on Harper and Castle yet. But it's a good problem to have. You think, all right, so Militia Guy thinks that Cornette's going to be shooting threes again. If you look at his statistics, he's got a really weird career with the 3-ball where he was shooting it his first couple years as a stretch 5. Then I think his next season or two, he shot it, limited sample size, but shot it very poorly. And then later in his career, like the last few years, he's not shooting at all. Steven, and I'm going to continue to say it wrong. Isn't it O-Lin, like L-Y-N and Olenek? No? How do you pronounce it? If it's not Olenek, how do you pronounce it? I'll wait. You guys have told me Olenek. Now, Militia Guy, I will hope you're 100% right there. The beautiful game is back. The ball just moves around. The open player gets the shot, whether it's in the paint. I don't think it's the negative side, WZH. I think it's more concern because the size of the contract it's big. And savvy Spurs fans are aware that we have a lot of overlapping contract extensions coming up during this time frame. Wemby, the big one, Castle, and then Harper and Bryant. Plus, there's still a question mark with Sochan's contract. Vassell's contract coincides with a lot of that. So I don't think it's being people are just saying De'Aaron Fox sucks. All right, that's being negative. My thing is just concerns of how the Spurs are going to handle the cap moving forward. You know what? That's not my job. That's on Brian Wright, and hopefully I'll be busy calling Spurs playoff games with you all, and I don't worry about it. Olenek. So I see 2 different pronunciations already in there. Jacob says, hello, TSR. Bowl. Yeah, hey, we have room for Bobo. If the Spurs do all of this roster, if players want to continue winning, they could take... So I heard from somebody earlier, Jacob, that you cannot restructure your contract down. And if that's the case, then this is it. Any thoughts on what happens with the open roster spot? Yeah. There's our 15th spot. I'm just waiting for the Spurs to call. Boop. Baby Yodi. There you go, guys. 15th man on the bench. I think he'll do a good job. The first game. Oh, so it's in Texas. Okay. James, we could. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot. The one thing is, truthfully, I mean, we're talking about it tonight. Some of us are addressing concerns in the future. But this is many years from now. We don't know what's going to happen. De'Aaron Fox could be traded in 2 years. Stephon Castle could be traded in 2 years. Dylan Harper could be traded in 2 years. We don't know if all three of these guards are going to be on the roster for the whole time. And if something comes up where the Spurs can get, I don't know, somebody that absolutely takes the team to the next level and the options there and they trade one, I mean, we don't know. We don't know. When they expect to be on the team, he's untradeable. I'd like to think Castle's untradeable, but really the only untradeable guy right now is Victor Wembanyama. But I'm really hoping Castle's here for life, and we'll see what happens moving forward. He'll be better than Bassey. Well, availability right there makes you better than Bassey. I like Charles, but his noodle knee, his left knee, he can't stay healthy. He can't. I wish he could have been our backup center or one of our backup centers. Cannot stay healthy. He is currently not signed, I believe, with anybody. Spurs will have to spend and be an apron team in the next 3 or 4 years if you want to be a championship team. I'm hoping we don't have to be an apron team, May, because that really inhibits our ability to sign players. It messes around with the MLEs. It can mess up draft picks if you're a repeat offender. I don't see the Spurs being a second apron team. Right now, I think with our last few years, we've been over the salary cap but under the luxury tax. If they're a championship team, I fully expect them to go over the luxury tax. Maybe the first apron once in a while. I don't see them, or maybe just 1 year going over the second apron. They're definitely not going to want to be a repeat offender on the second apron because the penalties on that, tax-wise, are massive. So that I don't see that happening. D. Harper will be the Spurs version of Cade Cunningham. I would not mind that. It's Jonathan. I mean, like many things in life, it's not as big as we think. It's just the amount of contracts. We'll see. We'll wait and see. We'll probably be okay, but there's the sticker shock where you get the price and you're like, ooh, that's more than what I expected. Like when you're going to get your car fixed and you're thinking, I just need blah blah blah, and the repair's gonna be like $200. Then you get, they say, well, that needs to be done, this needs to be done, and how much is that? Well, it's $1,200, and you're like, wait, that's $1,000 more than I expected to spend to fix my car. I was expecting De'Aaron Fox to get $200 million. Seeing those last 2 years, I did not think it would eclipse 63. Knock that 63 off and push those other 3 years down and have the first year at 45. That was more what I was expecting to, or first year at 50. 50, 51, 55, 59. I was expecting to see something like that, and granted, it's not a ton over 60, but seeing that last year over 60 is definitely like, wow, that is huge. I have no idea what you're talking about with SpongeBob. May, we do need some shooting still. I don't know what the Spurs are going to do with their 15th spot. Some of you said, let's get Bobo. I'm not in love with the idea, but at this point, getting another big, that similar, not as good, I'm not pulling a Shaq, that has a similar build to Wemby, wouldn't be the worst thing in the practice squad. How this upcoming season goes will give the front office an idea of how to move forward. Excited for the season to start with the healthy Wemby, the healthy Fox. We have not seen that yet. Fox dinged up his hammy, but apparently he's going to be fine, so don't worry about that. And, yeah, you know what, Logan? I wouldn't mind seeing Minix be elevated. Or re-signing Bismack. If we bring Minix up, then that would give us an open two-way contract. Go sign, I don't know, go sign the Bouye, whatever. Vixo, they're available. Bobo and Chris Boucher. I would not be opposed to Chris Boucher being the last player in the roster. Trading Devin or Keldon is definitely a huge question mark. I do think, personally, one of them will be gone before the All-Star break. Which one? I would tend to lean toward Devin. Not because of a Keldon Johnson jersey. Their output is very similar offensively. They get their points differently, but output-wise, there's not a huge difference. Defensively, they both have their issues. Devin's got the bigger contract. Two reasons. Devin's got the bigger contract, so it makes sense to move the contract that's bigger. Devin's making about $10 million more than Keldon, I believe, per year. And Keldon's just so freaking Texas. It's the ranch, the cowboy hat, whatever. I could see Devin being moved first. But who knows? Maybe they trade Keldon. Personally, between Barnes and Sochan, who would you take in that starting role this season? TX, I think Barnes is going to start because of his three-point shooting. The Spurs are going to need some sort of floor spacing. I expect Castle to start next season. I don't think at this moment in time you can have Castle or Sochan on the court together until we're proven wrong. Hopefully we're proven wrong. Right? Fox and the Spurs might be moving on. That a lot of people... Rolo, no. There's speculation, too, that the Spurs might move on from somebody giving out this kind of money, that one of their other extensions that's in place, Keldon, Devin, or a future extension in Jeremy means one of those guys is gone, or two of those guys. No Markkanen. No Larry Markkanen. Injury prone. Talk about an overpay. I think Larry Markkanen was overpaid. He has not been the same player since... No, I don't want Larry Markkanen. Keldon too well, yeah. And I think Keldon would take a smaller contract on an extension to stay with the Spurs. When his $17 million is up, I could see him signing for 4 years for 60 or maybe even 50. I don't know. I think he's, whether you like it or not, I think he's going to be here longer than most people expect. He's been getting traded for the last 3 years, has he not? Every year it's trade Keldon Johnson. Still a Spur. All right, guys, one last time tonight, I'm going to ask you to hit the old thumbs up if you haven't done so. We are at 85. I'd like to get 100 for the live stream. That would be pretty cool. Maybe 15 more. There's enough people to get us to 15 more. I said I would go live for about an hour. We're at the hour mark, so I'm probably going to wrap it up. Well, boy, sorry, you're just coming in. I'm wrapping it up. But you can always watch it on the replay if you missed the beginning. You guys are all over here, so you could be part of the stream as well. And... yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up. We've been live for an hour. My voice is getting a little hoarse, and thank you to those of you that hit the thumbs up. I'm sure we'll get over 100 at some point. We're at 93 right now. On your way out, if you hit the thumbs up, that'd be great. But I am going to wrap it up. I'm a little hungry. I've been on a new workout routine, and lots of content coming. I'm sorry, little boy. I'm sorry. I plan on only going live for an hour. I do have a lot of content planned over the next 2 months. The Spurs off-season is probably going to be quiet except for things like this. I'll probably have a few more videos on this week. But I expect content will taper off. I just don't want to do videos on the Spurs just to put a video up. I don't, and it's not fun. No, I don't want to do that. I'll try to do more Yankees and Giants content with shorts. The Yankees absolutely suck, so that's a whole thing in itself. But the music thing is about to open up big time on this channel. And I know a lot of you might not be fans of the music here, which is cool, but with the Giants and Yankees stinking, I expect some of those songs to show up more. There's going to be some Wemby songs in the works, maybe even some Couch Contingent songs. I've got a song for Yodi right now that's pretty much all finished. I just need to master it and produce it. And I love making music. It's going to be anywhere from metal to kid music and everything in between. Yes, I heard kid music. So... that's all I got, guys. Oh, I had dinner already, little boy. I'm just going to grab like a protein bar or something. And something to call it a night. But, guys, it was fun hanging with you tonight. We haven't been live in a while. I was going to do a video on this earlier, and I was like, you know what? Just go live and chat with the team for a while. Chat with the community, see what everybody's thinking. And, well, I'm sure I'll have a video on this tomorrow because I have more thoughts on this. So, guys, normally, you know what? Never know, Taj. Marvel's Juggernaut, what's going on? You never know. I've got a lot planned. There's going to be some Couch Contingent songs. As long as they're somewhat sports related, there is a cute Grogu song that I came up with. He does wear a Spurs jersey. So, I mean, he's sort of sports related, isn't he? Yes? No? I don't know. We'll see what we'll do with all that. But, guys, that's all I got. I don't know when the next live stream is. It might not be until October. Maybe October? I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to wrap it up for real this time, guys. On behalf of Yodi, Mikey, Grogu, and myself, what you going to do when TSR Sports runs wild on you? Go Spurs, go!